The Law of One, Session 14, January 29, 1981.
14.0 I am Ra. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. We communicate now.
14.1 Questioner. Going back over this morning's work. Inaudible. You said the second density strives towards the third density, which is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness. The striving takes place through higher second density forms invested by third density beings. Could you explain what you mean by this?
I am Ra. Much as you would put on a vestment, so do your third density beings invest or clothe some second density beings with self-awareness. This is often done through the opportunity of what you call pets. It has also been done by various other means of investiture. These include many so-called religious practice complexes which personify and send love to various natural second density beings in their group form.
14.2 Questioner. When this earth was second density, how did the second density beings on this earth become so invested?
There was not this type of investment as spoken, but the simple third density investment, which is the line of spiraling light calling distortion upward from density to density. The process takes longer when there is no investment made by incarnate third density beings.
14.3 Questioner. Then what was the second density form? What did it look like that became Earth Man in the third density? What did he look like in the second density?
I am Ra. The difference between second and third density bodily forms would in many cases have been more like one to the other. In the case of your planetary sphere, the process was interrupted by those who incarnated here from the planetary sphere you call Mars. They were adjusted by genetic changing and, therefore, there was some difference which was of a very noticeable variety rather than the gradual raising of the bipedal forms upon your second density level to third density level. This has nothing to do with the so-called placement of the soul. This has only to do with the circumstances of the influx of those from that culture.
14.4 Questioner. I understand from previous material that this occurred 75,000 years ago. Then it was our third density process of evolution began. Can you tell me the history? Hitting only the points of development, shall I say, that occurred within this 75,000 years. Any particular times or points where the attempts were made to increase the development of this third density?
I am Ra. The first attempt to aid your peoples was at the time, 75,000. This attempt, 75,000, of your years ago has been previously described by us. The next attempt was approximately 58,000 of your years ago, continuing for a long period in your measurement, with those of Mu as you call this race or mind, body, spirit, social complex. The next attempt was long in coming and occurred approximately 13,000 of your years ago when some intelligent information was offered to those of Atlantis, this being of the same type of healing and crystal working of which we have spoken previously. The next attempt was 11,000 of your years ago. These are approximations as we are not totally able to process your space-time continuum measurement system. This was in what you call Egypt, and of this we have also spoken. The same beings which came with us returned approximately 3,500 years later in order to attempt to aid the South American mind, body, spirit, social complex once again. However, the pyramids of those so-called cities were not to be used in the appropriate fashion. Therefore, this was not pursued further. There was a landing approximately 3,000 of your years ago also in your South America, as you call it. There were a few attempts to aid your peoples, 2,300 years ago, this in the area of Egypt. The remaining part of the cycle, we have never been gone from your fifth dimension and have been working in this last minor cycle to prepare for harvest.
14.5 Questioner. Was the Egyptian visit of 11,000 years ago the only one where you actually walked the earth?
I am Ra. I understand your question distorted in the direction of selves rather than other selves. We of the vibratory sound complex, Ra, have walked among you only at that time.
14.6 Questioner. I understood you to say in an earlier session that pyramids were built to ring the earth. How many pyramids were built?
I am Ra. There are 6 balancing pyramids and 52 others built for additional healing and initiatory work among your mind, body, spirit, social complexes.
14.7 Questioner. What is a balancing pyramid?
I am Ra. Imagine, if you will, the many force fields of the earth in their geometrically precise web. Energies stream into the earth planes, as you would call them, from magnetically determined points. Due to growing thought-form distortions in understanding of the law of one, the planet itself was seen to have the potential for imbalance. The balancing pyramidal structures were charged with crystals which drew the appropriate balance from the energy forces streaming into the various geometrical centers of electromagnetic energy which surround and shape the planetary sphere.
14.8 Questioner. Let me make a synopsis, and you tell me if I am correct. All of these visits for the last 75,000 years were for the purpose of giving to the people of Earth an understanding of the law of one, and this way allow them to progress upward through the 4th, 5th, 6th densities. This was to be a service to Earth. The pyramids were used also in giving the law of one in their own way. The balancing pyramids, I'm not quite sure of. Am I right so far?
I am Ra. You are correct to the limits of the precision allowed by language.
14.9 Questioner. Did the balancing pyramid cause the Earth from changing its axis?
I am Ra. This query is not clear. Please restate.
14.10 Questioner. Does the balancing refer to balancing of the individual who is initiated in the pyramid, or does it refer to the physical balancing of the Earth on its axis in space?
I am Ra. The balancing pyramidal structures could be and were used for individual initiation. However, the use of these pyramids was also designed for the balancing of the planetary energy web. The other pyramids are not placed properly for earth healing but for healing of mind, body, spirit complexes. It came to our attention that your density was distorted towards what is called by our distortion understanding of third density, a premature aging process. We were attempting to aid in giving the mind, body, spirit complexes off third density on your planetary sphere, more of a time-space continuum in one incarnation pattern in order to have a fuller opportunity to learn, teach the laws or ways of the primal distortion of the law of one, which is love.
14.11 Questioner. I will make this statement. You can tell me if I am correct. The way I understand it, the balancing pyramids were to do what we call increase the lifespan of entities here so that they would gain more wisdom of the law of one while in the physical at one time. Is this correct?
I am Ra. This is correct. However, the pyramids not called by us by the vibrational sound complex, balancing pyramids, were more numerous and were used exclusively for the above purpose and the learning of healers to charge and enable these processes.
14.12 Questioner. George Van Tassel built a machine in our western desert called an integratron. Will this machine work for that purpose of increasing the lifespan?
I am Ra. The machine is incomplete and will not function for the above-mentioned purpose.
14.13 Questioner. Who gave George the information on how to build it?
I am Ra. There were 2 contacts which gave the entity with vibratory sound complex, George, this information. One was of the Confederation. The second was of the Orion Group. The Confederation was caused to find the distortion towards non-contact due to the alteration of the vibrational mind complex patterns of the one called George. Thus, the Orion Group used this instrument. However, this instrument, though confused, was a mind-body-spirit complex devoted at the heart to service to others, so the, shall we say, worst that could be done was to discredit this source.
14.14 Questioner. Would there be any value to the people of this planet now, at this time, to complete this machine?
I am Ra. The harvest is now. There is not at this time any reason to include efforts along these distortions towards longevity, but rather to encourage distortions towards seeking the heart of self, for this which resides clearly in the violet ray energy field will determine the harvesting of each mind, body, spirit complex.
14.15 Questioner. Going back to the start of this 75,000 year period, there was the harvesting 25,000 years after the start, which would make it 50,000 years ago, I would assume. Can you tell me how many were harvested from our planet at that time?
I am Ra. The harvest was none.
14.16 Questioner. There was no harvest. What about 25,000 years ago? Was there a harvest then?
I am Ra. A harvesting began taking place in the latter portion, as you measure time-space, of the second cycle, with individuals finding the gateway to intelligent infinity. The harvest of that time, though extremely small, were those entities of extreme distortion towards service to the entities which now were to repeat the major cycle. These entities, therefore, remained in third density, although they could, at any moment, present nexus, leave this density through use of intelligent infinity.
14.17 Questioner. Then the harvest 25,000 years ago. The entities who could have been harvested to the fourth density remained here in service to this planetary population. Is this correct?
I am Ra. This is correct. Thus, there was no harvest, but there were harvestable entities who shall choose the manner of their entrance into fourth dimension.
14.18 Questioner. Then for the last 2,300 years you have been actively working to create as large a harvest as possible at the end of the total 75,000 year cycle. Can you state with respect to the law of one why you do this? Just as a statement of your reasons for this?
I am Ra. I speak for the social memory complex termed Ra. We came among you to aid you. Our efforts in service were perverted. Our desire then is to eliminate as far as possible the distortions caused by those misreading our information and guidance. The general cause of service such as the Confederation offers is that of the primal distortion of the law of one, which is service. The one being of the creation is like unto a body, if you will accept this third density analogy. Would we ignore a pain in the leg? A bruise upon the skin? A cut which is festering? No. There is no ignoring a call. We, the entities of sorrow, choose as our service the attempt to heal the sorrow which we are calling analogous to the pains of a physical body complex distortion.
14.19 Questioner. At what density level is Ra?
I am Ra. I am 6th density with a strong seeking towards 7th density. The harvest for us will be in only approximately 2.5 million of your years, and it is our desire to be ready for harvest as it approaches in our space-time continuum.
14.20 Questioner. And you ready yourselves for harvest through the best service you can provide. Is this correct?
This is correct. We offer the law of one, the solving of paradoxes, the balancing of love, light, love.
14.21 Questioner. How long is one of your cycles?
I am Ra. One of our cycles computes to 75 million of your years.
14.22 Questioner. 75 million.
That is correct.
14.23 Questioner. In your service in giving the law of one, do you work with any planets other than the Earth at this time, or just Earth?
I am Ra. We work only with this planetary sphere at this time.
14.24 Questioner. You stated that you were called by 352,000 Earth entities. Does this mean that this number is the number who will understand and accept the law of one? Am I correct?
I am Ra. We cannot estimate the correctness of your statement, for those who call are not in every case able to understand the answer to their calling. Moreover, those who were not calling previously may, with great trauma, discover the answers to the call nearly simultaneously with their late call. There is no time-space in call. Therefore, we cannot estimate the number of your mind-body-spirit complexes which will, in your space-time continuum distortion, hear and understand.
14.25 Questioner. How do you perform your normal service? How have you normally given the law of one over the last 2,300 years? How have you normally given this to Earth people?
I am Ra. We have used channels such as this one, but in most cases the channels feel inspired by dreams and visions without being aware, consciously, of our identity or existence. This particular group has been accentuatedly trained to recognize such contact. This makes this group able to be aware of a focal or vibrational source of information.
14.26 Questioner. When you contact the entities in their dreams and otherwise, these entities, I assume, have to be first seeking in the direction of the law of one. Is this correct?
I am Ra. This is correct. For example, the entities of the nation of Egypt were in a state of pantheism, as you may call the distortion towards separate worship of various portions of the Creator. We were able to contact one whose orientation was towards the One.
14.27 Questioner. The trauma? I'll just call it that. I assume this will, as the cycle ends, have some inconvenience inaudible. There will be some entities who start seeking or get catalyzed, you might say, into seeking because of the trauma, and will then maybe hear your words through possibly telepathy or written material such as we will publish as this book.
I am Ra. You are correct except in understanding that the inconveniences have begun.
14.28 Questioner. Can you tell me who was responsible for transmitting the book OSP?
I am Ra. This was transmitted by one of Confederation Social Memory Complex Status whose idea, as offered to the Council, was to use some of the known physical history of the so-called religions or religious distortions of your cycle in order to veil and partially unveil aspects or primal distortions of the law of one. All names can be taken to be created for their vibrational characteristics. The information buried within has to do with a deeper understanding of love and light, and the attempts of infinite intelligence through many messengers to teach, learn those entities of your sphere.
14.29 Questioner. Have there been any other books that you can name that are available for this purpose that have been given by the Confederation?
I am Ra. We cannot share this information, for it would distort your discernment patterns in your future. You may ask about a particular volume.
14.30 Questioner. The Urantia book, which I haven't read. Who gave that?
I am Ra. This was given by a series of discarnate entities of your own earth planes, the so-called inner planes. This material is not passed by the Council.
14.31 Questioner. The Edgar Cayce material. Who spoke through Edgar Cayce?
I am Ra. No entity spoke through Edgar Cayce.
14.32 Questioner. Where did the information come from that Edgar Cayce channeled?
I am Ra. We have explained before that the intelligent infinity is brought into intelligent energy from 8th density or the octave. The one vibratory sound complex called Edgar used this gateway to view the present, which is not the continuum you experience but the potential social memory complex of this planetary sphere. The term your peoples have used for this is the Akashic record or the Hall of Records. This is the last question which you may now ask.
14.33 Questioner. Is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or help during the transmission?
I am Ra. We only reiterate the importance of alignment. This instrument is placed 0.2 degrees, 0.2 degree, away from the direction of the resting place, which is correct. This may be eyed, shall we say, by sight and the instrument reminded. You are being conscientious. Is there any brief question we may answer before this session is closed?
14.34 Questioner. Can you tell me if we are accomplishing our efforts reasonably well?
I am Ra. The law is one. There are no mistakes. I am Ra. I leave this instrument in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.